Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome to the discussion for Viticulture. This is a game that has been a long time coming for the channel. For some reason, I just have never done it. The main reason is because we'll shortly have the cooperative expansion on the channel. But this game has been around for quite some time. In 2013, when it came out, this was I don't know if it was Stonemeyer's first game. But it was their first game that brought in the Automata, the solo AI player. I think that's actually where they coined the term. But Essential Edition came out a few years later, including like the best parts of things, and then it also included the expansion Essential Editions as well. So basically, if you're going to play Viticulture, just get the Essential Edition because it houses everything that you probably really need to play the game. But, with that being said, what do you guys think of Viticulture?
I like it. I've always liked it. We played this off camera. It was on our little Meeple fill-out list.
Oh, yeah.
I've always liked it.
Yeah? Yeah? What do you like about it?
I like that it's about wine. I also just like the mechanics in general. I like how it's it's separated into seasons. I don't usually plan when I play these games, but this game I was like counting down workers. Like I was starting in winter and I was like, I want to do that, but I want to do that. So this is like how many workers I'm going to need. Yeah. And that's how you know I like the game.
Yeah.
Is that I'm not just like, eh.
Right. No, this is definitely one of those like almost like iconic worker placement games that brought in the grande worker that really just opens up the board because it stops you from like You can't really block someone, like.
And you have one chance.
Yeah. Although there were a couple of times that I know I want to do that, but I think I want to save my grande worker just in case.
Yeah.
I can't do that later.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's what I always do. Yeah.
Yep.
You can use it only once. And I mean, but I almost always hold on to it. It's always my last worker I'm playing, just because it can act as a regular worker as well. And it would be interesting if they changed it to where your grande worker could only go somewhere that someone else had already gone.
That's true.
Almost like your grande worker is the manager and only
managers
have access.
Right. But Brett, what do you think?
I'm split.
I have a fundamental problem with this game now. After years of playing so many different games and playing another game that's very similar to this, Vinos, I do have a extreme fundamental problem.
Is it because of what I just did, or is
No. That's perfectly fine. That's a sweet move.
Is it because?
It's because.
Well, but did that uncover what you're?
Yes.
Okay.
It wasn't your long.
Because
No.
Because I don't know what you're about to say. So what I'm going to say is, as you know, I am not the heavier thinking, strategizing across multiple years and stuff like that. So I didn't play a very strong strategy. I just started out with, I'm going to get all the workers I can right up front, because worker placement, that's your biggest resource problem.
Right.
So that was my goal. Every single time I saved up 3 or 4, and I saved up 1 worker to get more workers.
Yep. And then the one time I helped you.
And that was the last one.
Right.
And I wasn't even totally sure I needed that last one.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, but
yeah.
Thank you. In any event, but that just gives you so many other options. Then, of course, I become overloaded with options.
Right.
And do I want to save up resources? So,
it's so many options to say you no longer have to stress about exactly where you need, because you have 6 workers total. I think it's 6, 2, 4, 5. Is it 5?
5
1, 2,
regular,
3,
1
4.
possible.
Okay, yeah, 6.
Yeah, I had 6.
So it's like there's no more stress of where you need to go. Like you can just.
It was a little, but not much. It was more of, well, I can only do this now, and I can only do this, so the timing is much more important. Yeah, and that's where I start getting bogged down and stop enjoying games so much, is when I have to plan out things very carefully. Yeah. Great news for people who like that.
Right.
But I didn't hate it. I just a little bit more than I really want to put into enjoying a game.
Yeah, I tried. I actually at a certain point I tried going a minimalist approach and seeing. I'm like, can you win this game without actually having a bunch of wine? Because there's so many different ways to get victory points. I mean, you could just pile up money and then just go trade.
Yeah.
I mean, because there's nothing stopping you from also, like, I could go there with my Grande and then take another worker and go trade again, as long as no one takes that spot.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, well, I'll just trade in 9 coins for 3 points. Or what my actual plan was, when I decided I didn't want to go minimalist, I made a level 7 sparkling. I was going to go here. And I was going to sell a wine token, a sparkling wine, for 4 points. And then, place another one. And the fact that you can do that, it's weird, because it's like, well, that's great. You can get victory points for doing a bunch of other stuff, but this is a game about winemaking, and I'm not making any wine.
Yeah.
I'm trading shit.
So, the one time I went to sell this field, I didn't particularly want to sell the field. I didn't feel like I needed the money.
Right.
What I was going to do was go there, sell it, get the money, keep the money, and then the next year go there, buy it back, and then just keep doing that, getting one more point every turn.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, it's very strange, and that's why because we've played Vinos on the channel, and I've always been like, well, which one do I like more? This one is definitely for your more casual gamers. Vinos is the heavy Euro winemaking game. But in that one, you actually are busting your ass to make wine.
Yeah.
And then here, it's like, I filled 1 order, and I had a level 1 vine.
Yeah.
And I traded for the other 2, and then I just aged them up, and I'm like, okay. And so, while you can do stuff like that's all fine. Here's where my fundamental problem is. I finally see what makes people upset about this game. These cards are so fucked. Like, literally, like, your 8-point swing is impressive through and this is gonna sound worse than I mean, but through no strategy of your own.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You didn't build up. It's just like, oh, lucky me on this order. Lucky me on, because you just had so many visitors. That's just like, age wine, fill wine, and like it's like you didn't have to do any of the actual worker placement. You just went to one spot to play cards that just let you do free shit. And playing this game, and we played it also the other day, and I was like, yeah, those cards are just so absolutely swingy. It takes any strategy out of the game.
They're either really good, or they're really just, I'm going to toss that when I need to.
Yeah, very situational.
I don't know if you noticed me laying cards face down. Those are the ones I already know I'm getting rid of at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to sell them.
Last time we played, I would just kind of put them to the side, because I'm like, I know I can get rid of those if I have to get down to something.
Right.
As soon as they're out, I went, I'm not going to use that.
And for other games, and I've bitched on games in the past for this, whenever you can top deck points, I really start to not like the game. Even if it's just me, where it's just like, oh, like you play the card, oh, everyone can draw from here. It's like, oh, okay. Hey, look at that. I'm going to play that right now. Gain 2 coins for each empty field you own, or gain 1 for each planted. Gain 1 point for each planted field you own. Like, I mean, obviously shitty for me, but great for Kat, because she could have drawn this and been like, oh, look at that, 3 points. Did I earn that? Absolutely not. It's just, look at that.
Technically, yes.
No,
but you didn't plan for that ability.
Yeah, it is. It's all random.
You earn it by drawing up a bunch of potentially special cards.
Right.
And hoping, because at first I was just going to avoid them, because again, that's too much for me to keep track of.
Yeah.
But I kept getting free ones. I wasn't going to use a worker to draw them.
Well, you can't.
Yeah, you can.
See?
To draw cards?
No. We'll draw fill orders, but you can't draw visitors. You have to get them from the waking up area.
Yeah.
Which I believe in the regular Viticulture, there was a spot to go. I think it was in the spring or something that you could go to actually draw them. But they changed it to that, which obviously that's way more preferable to only get like a few. But
we end up getting so many anyway.
Well, you did.
Well, we all did. I thought we all had a bunch of different visitor cards.
I mean, if they were coming, I wasn't. I guess you played more.
I'm sure I did.
And that's kind of where it's like, well, if
the core game is no longer.
Yeah, it's no longer like, man, I like. What's the point of even saving up or aging or building these large cellars whenever I know for a fact that they're in there, and I'll just keep just drawing them until, hey, here's the one that lets me build my large cellar for free.
Yeah. I got a little frustrated up front when both of you got those cards. I'm like,
yeah,
I'm gonna have to spend like 22 lira at some point getting there.
Yeah, exactly, and that's it. Feels very unfair when it's like, well, I wish I could have drawn that.
Yeah,
like,
the balance is they're up for grabs for anybody.
Yes,
but then it's a luck-based game more than strategy.
It is no different than real life where you watch people and you're just like, yeah, I guess if that was the hand I was dealt, sure. If I was just bored.
Right.
But we don't want to play life. We want to play
Exactly. Theme doesn't always make good game mechanics. Yeah. Hey, in your vineyard, the merchant visited you. Great. But then, if that's the case, then why play? You know, like if it's so much like real life, then it's like I'll just accept that as terms of reality and just not play this.
Yeah. I found myself thinking, what would it be like without the visitors or the buildings?
Yeah. Well, think about it. It's also very frustrating whenever it's like, in what vineyard, because this is also breaking reality in terms of, like, theme, why can't I plant the wines I want to plant? I have to get super lucky because whenever I was drawing those, my silo, because my plan was to do exactly what Kat did. My plan was to constantly have an influx of wine, age them, move them over, and be able to fill any order that came my way.
Yeah.
But every single one I drew required me to have the trellis or the irrigation, which they're very cheap to build, but it's almost like a pain in the ass to be like, okay, I'll build a structure.
Yeah. I will say in this game you have to have them.
You do.
And until my final move, you were right there in the lead, or we were together the whole time, and you, again, filled no orders.
Yeah.
Had almost no grapes.
Yeah. And that was going to be an argument I was going to bring up once again. Is like, well, I didn't even really play. Like, I just did off shit to just get victory points. Mm-hmm. I filled out one order, and it was I think it was 6 points. But even that was also kind of weird, because Kat even brought it up. She's like, my level 7 sparkling got me 5 points. It's like, oh, I had to save up to a level 9 just to get 1 extra point. Mm-hmm. It's like, so the orders also don't seem...
And technically it got me 4, but I had the fill plus 1.
Right, but and that's how I got 6.
Still, okay.
Because it was the extra point as well. And that brought me up to 15. But it's frustrating that you have to, whenever you start out with orders, because it's so random, the orders you have to get also have to match the vines that you happen to draw. So this game...
Which is why in the early game I was drawing vines like crazy to get the combo that I was really looking for.
Right, and so and eventually you get it, but then it could be like you could have been spending your entire time doing that, just drawing, and then I could have the one, visitor that, plant 2 things. You don't even need the equipment.
Yeah,
the first game we played.
Yeah.
You played that one.
I
had that one last game where it's like, this is a level 4 that needs both? Okay, well, lucky I have this visitor that lets me plant it for free, so I don't even have to worry about my 2 things anymore.
I didn't even cultivate what I needed. I just, whatever I pulled, I was like, you're planting it.
Yeah.
You're getting what you need, and you're planting it. Because
Yeah.
I didn't do that last time, and I didn't plant until
way later.
Way later.
Yeah, so this was more of kind of like an experimental game for me to kind of see if you could go so, like, off... Because then it comes down to, well, then everyone's playing the same game. Like, everyone needs to build the trellis and the irrigation. Who gives a shit? Like, just that's what everyone's doing first. Because you have the Grande worker, you are pretty much able to, and the way the turn structure works, like, everyone's going to get them built. And then everyone's drawing vines, and then it's just kind of a race to who can fill their orders quicker than anyone else. So then it's like, okay, well, I'm just going to wake up at 2 every single time, just because you can't take the 1 spot.
Yeah. And even then, it becomes a luck game based on, are you drawing the right orders?
Right, yes. That was the super frustrating part, because, like, the wines that I was able to, like, plant, or the vines I was able to plant, like, the second one I drew, when I drew in order, I think it was that one, was a 3 white and a 7 rosé, and it's like, well, I don't even have those vines to plant, and at a certain point in the game, I now can't go back to try and find them.
Right.
So I'm already behind because you guys have already planted your vines, and you have all the visitors that just let you freely make wine and then freely fill orders. So, because that's also the other disgusting part about the visitors, where it's like, oh man, this lets me fill an order. I get to play 2. Okay, well I have 3 orders. Fill that one. Fill that one. Oh, and I'm gonna go here and fill that one. 3 orders, and then that's the game.
Yeah.
Like, and most of the ones that let you fill orders give you an extra point. So if you just stock up, really, that's probably one of the strategies, is just fill your entire cellar, and then just get a handful, and then just, like, top deck those winter visitors, fill multiple orders, and then it's like, okay, so that's 6, that's 7 points. Oh, lucky me, I also have that thing, so that's 8 points. Oh, here's another 8-pointer, and then there's a 3-pointer. So there's 19 points right there on a 25-point game. And everyone else is like, I was trying to run a vineyard. Like,
slow and steady, came close.
pretty much. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll take 22 points off of not playing the game.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean that's
Like 20. Well, in the Essential Edition, it changed. It used to be 20 points.
okay.
Like was the end game, but it also, this was a very dumb rule. 25 points was the cap. So if you hit 25 and it's like, well, I get extra. No, you don't. It was a very stupid rule, which they obviously changed in the Essential Edition. But I think for me, Vinos is just, if I want to play a wine making game, that's just the one I'm going to play.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make white wine, so I'm going to build vineyards and go into countries and that request white wine.
Yeah.
That's the strategy I feel like I'm making. There's no luck where it's like, oh man, I wish I could have gotten 5 points for that, visitor.
Yeah.
So what's good? What's good about the game? Because this is one of the most beloved. It used to be one of my favorites, but
Well, I mean, at the time, it hit some of the greatest buttons.
yeah,
It hit its niche perfectly.
yeah,
And so it was lauded and it was praised.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people have not gotten, but there are some better spins on it now.
yeah.
It was also imitated a lot.
It's
I've
a
heard.
niche theme as well.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I can only think of 2 games that are about winemaking.
Yeah, and this was, I'm sure, much earlier.
Yes, yeah. Vinos came out.
We already said, what, 2013? No, Vinos, sorry.
yeah,
sorry,
Vinos.
sorry.
Vinos.
2015.
Vinos came out.
You just guessed.
I lied. The first Vinos edition came out in 2010.
Oh, wow.
Came out before in the deluxe
So
edition.
this is the knockoff.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
The deluxe edition, which is what probably a lot of people have played. That's definitely the one I've played.
Yeah.
Is that was 2016.
Okay.
But yeah, Viticulture came out in 2013. Interesting.
This mechanically is a weird mishmash of game mechanics that don't mesh perfectly,
Yeah.
but they really don't conflict either. They're not confusing and confounding each other.
No, I mean
it's
it's
definitely
a
an
solid
engine
worker
builder.
placement.
It's definitely a worker placement fundamentally, but there's also an engine building aspect, and there's of course luck to it. But each of those
Where's the engine?
building the wine into these.
I wouldn't call that an. I don't know if I would call that an engine, just because you need to do like it's broken up. Like you have to do something to plant the harvest, then you have to go do something else to then harvest it. Then you got to do something else to make wine. Like I think it's too broken up to probably, because an engine for me is like I'm gonna do this, which then allows me to do this, and this, and it's like a running thing. That's my own kind of
That makes sense.
thought process. But you're right. It's nice, like it's satisfying that you can be like, I'm gonna harvest like these things, and that comes down here, and then like I really like aesthetically the glass beads. You place them on, and it enlarges the number.
Yeah.
Magnifies it.
Yeah, it's a worker placement with so many options and a worker that lets you do whatever you want anyway. That part of the fun and strategy of a worker placement game is the limitations. This doesn't have that.
That's true.
For some people. Now,
Yeah.
it's less frustrating for people like me who hate the fact I can't do that. I can't.
Right.
Somebody's always there.
Right.
So, but I mean, it has a lot of interesting mitigations to overcome some of the problems of any of these mechanics. Like I'm drawing a bunch of crappy cards. Well, there's a way you can sell them and get points.
Yeah.
Or money, or
Yeah. I think with the Essential Edition specifically, I don't actually care for the star system. It feels like they almost took that idea. Like, I think I'd have to look at when this came out, but I think it came out the same year Scythe did. This
that was
come out
that was
before.
part of Tuscany originally.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And I think that just adds... It really adds nothing like a small area control
Yeah.
aspect just to go and get more free random shit.
Cards.
Yeah.
That's the other way
Like,
you can get visitors.
Right. And then it's like, if you did work your entire time and you're like, yes, I hit 25, and then it's like, oh, I get, 8 points over there. So it's actually, I surpassed you and win. It's like, that's not even fucking, that's like this offshoot of just whatever of the game.
Yeah. Feels like they have added that as a layer of complication that it really doesn't need. Mm-hmm. It's not bad, but it doesn't enhance.
It's almost like
it's a minor distraction, and
right.
It really doesn't enhance anything.
Well, it's almost like whenever they expanded the board, because in original Viticulture it was just summer and winter, and then you had like abstract spring and fall.
Yeah, nothing happened.
Yeah, there weren't actually worker play. It sounds like they needed extra spots, so they're like, how the fuck? Okay, let's add stars and let's just throw those in, because it I get it. It's supposed to be you shipping your wine, like, thematically, I guess, to these different countries. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, Vinos does that, and it makes more sense there.
It's built into the theme rather than being an addition.
And I also don't like the residual payments. I think that's actually, inconsequential just because it's so easy to get money. Like, well, I'm over here with fucking 18.
It gets you nothing at the beginning when money is critical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then you end up with lots of money when, well, most of us, when it doesn't really matter.
Right. Well, Kat kept spending, like, hers. Like, the only reason you and I have as much money as we do is because we sold. I think she never sold.
Told you, gotta make money to spend.
Yeah. But it's like
money to spend money.
I would almost.
No, so wait a minute. That's all.
I would almost do away with the residual payments or make it victory points. Like.
Yeah, I can see.
Like, I see why it's there. You fill an order, so that's like them constantly buying that.
Yeah, that's your reputation that you're building.
But or make that an end game thing. You get extra victory points how high you are. But then again, that just adds more to it. Could be insult to injury, where it's like, oh, well, I got all the lucky draws, and now my residual payments are higher, so now it's like, oh, I get 5 extra points at the end.
I will point something out real quick, though, is that I have heard you on many occasions say, I don't want to try to fix a game, and yet you want to try to fix this one. You want to think of ways that it could be improved.
Right. Well, also, shut up.
No, I don't mean. I just mean it's good enough that you want to say, okay, it just needs a couple little tweaks.
Right.
Rather than just, no.
Yeah.
I think it's fundamentally wrong.
Yeah, I've had this in my collection for so long that it's almost like weird to not like it as much anymore. Mm-hmm. But once again, that's just because my taste in games has changed into the fact that if I want to play a game that's of this theme, I want to play the heavy strategy game. Mm-hmm. And Vinos does everything. It does everything for me. Yeah. If people just want to kind of do a romp of winemaking, drink a glass of wine while playing this, and
or a can,
or a can of wine, and not really give a shit of who the visitors are or any of that.
Play it as an abstract game that has a theme.
Yeah. Then I know why a lot of people like this, but I think my tastes have just changed. That those kinds of randomness, where it's like, hey, here's strategy, but there's also so much random thrown into it, is not something I enjoy, because I want to strategize and I can't.
Yeah.
Like, there's no point. Even Kat said during the run-through, she's like, I just do whatever is handed to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's
what some people might like that.
Yeah.
Like
I started off with a strategy, and then I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do whatever.
Right.
I built something, I'll just keep milking it. Never once used the yolk. Totally forgot about it.
I never built it.
Once again, my plan, and it changed as soon as my starting shit was drawn, was like, there's no point in me doing this, was to do exactly what Kat did, and then have the yolk, and then, I mean, the silo was going to be great, because I was going to constantly just be, like, harvesting, and I was just, this was my grape areas, my crush pads were going to be full, I was going to move all those over, and then just get a bunch of, like, but it's weird, because it's like, well, you can do that, because it's a race to 25, the game's not long enough for you to do that.
And to be honest, I had no idea I was going to hit 25 with that move. I honestly thought it was going to have to keep going. I wasn't adding it up and going, oh, if I do this, I win! It just...
Well, I mean, even then, like, a 6-point swing is huge. Like, and then so whenever you were at 7 and then you were at 24, it's just like, well, there's really... I mean, I already had to pass, so there was nothing Kat and I could have done. Because as soon as you did hit 25, it goes till the end of winter. And you did it right at the end of winter. So it was a solid play.
that I didn't plan at all.
Yeah, and I think that's another thing why I like Vinhos better is because it's not a race to victory points. There's a certain...
Oh, that game never ends?
Correct.
There's no victory points. There's no point at all.
No, there's a certain set number of rounds, and then whoever has the most victory points at the end.
Got it.
Like, I wouldn't mind so much about the visitors if it wasn't giving the constant victory points, which has a surefire first to 25 is ending the game.
Yeah.
So, Kat, do you have any problems?
Nothing that you guys haven't already said.
Do you agree, disagree with us? Or you guys like just suck it up?
I mean, shut the fuck up. No.
I love the visitors. They're
Dump
so
it on my
hot.
game.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it is just random. I think it's it's a game that came out many years ago, and
10 years ago.
it just fell prey to time. Better games have come out since then. Better games have been made. That's just how the market is. The market is inflated, as is. So
That is true.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would say which you like better, this or Vinhos, but you don't remember Vinhos, and I'm pretty sure you would probably say this.
Who made Vinhos?
Huh?
Who made Vinhos?
Vito Lasarda.
You know how I feel about him.
You said you liked Vinhos.
Yeah, I do, but I think just how my brain works. I'm a viticulture brain. You're a Vinhos brain.
That should have been our vows.
Men are from
I will love
Vinhos,
you.
women are from Viticulture.
I will love you through all our Vito Lasarda.
Yeah. Was it you don't deserve me at my
you can't
Vinhos,
handle me-
or you don't
if you
deserve me
can't
at my
handle me-
viticulture if you can't
Yeah.
handle me at my Vinhos?
Yeah.
It's like, what? That's probably some weird board game hobbyist. They got married, they met over board
It's
games,
on
and
like
that's just
a
what they say to each
a
other.
needle point.
I'd burn that house down if I ever met those people. I'd be like, yep. No, the world doesn't need more of you. Well, that's disappointing. But
I liked it.
Thanks.
you liked it?
Yeah.
Oh, I know you did.
Not
You got-
great.
You got 8 points.
Oh, please.
No,
At the
I
very
didn't, I didn't enjoy, and frankly, I didn't care about winning. I wasn't focused on that. I was focused on doing well,
Yeah.
but I wasn't like comparing myself. And again,
It's always interesting to see stuff like that happen because it's like, I wonder if the opinion shifts if that happened against another person.
I mean,
Like,
at
if
that
it-
point, you're dealing with personality type. Like, if you're gonna be a sore loser, you're a sore loser.
Thank you for pointing fingers. I'm trying to make
No! I
I'm
was
trying
just
to make
saying,
an
that's
observation.
how it is.
Well, it's like,
I'm not saying you're a sore loser.
well, no, because it puts it into perspective. Like,
I'm just saying if you're consistently mad and you're just like, "What didn't happen to me?"
well, okay,
no,
That's how I'm-
not what I'm saying. That's how you're reading into it. Like, I'm just stating
it's your personality. You're projecting. Get the
is
fuck out.
because if someone does like an 8-point swing like that, they're not thinking of, oh, how would that be if someone did that to me? Because it's like, oh yeah, that was so cool. But then, would it taste better, and would more things open up if it's like, oh wait, yeah, that was kind of unfair that I got 8 points out of that, you know? But I don't know. That's kind of because obviously people are going to be more critical in games that when either they're not doing as well, but it's always like, is that justified? I don't know.
Yeah, because I lost and I still like it. So
Yeah, but you're used to losing. It's like, what's the cool MJ trait?
what?
Always expect the worst because then you can't be disappointed.
Right.
MJ trait?
MJ saying is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, always expect the worst.
There's
That was
still
in,
3 people who haven't seen that movie.
It's like that was from like the first Spider-Man Homecoming. I think she says that.
Oh.
Yep, always expect the worst because
I think you meant Michael Jordan.
or Michael Jackson. You know that famous. No, MJ from Spider-Man. Always expect
I was like,
the
did-
worst because
did
then you
Michael
can't be
Jordan say
disappointed.
that?
Probably. He has said those words. Maybe not in that exact order,
Yeah.
but he has said them.
Publish that.
But yeah, like,
I would say the game is not too long for what it is. It didn't feel like it was an endurance. I didn't get tired of it. A couple more turns and I probably would have.
this one was about an hour, but the one we played the other day was like 2.5.
That one was addicted.
We had a lot of distractions, and I was learning the new, and I was remembering
Right.
stuff that I
Right.
had screwed up.
Probably my favorite thing about the game, though, is actually I love the wake up chart. I've always liked that. Like Alchemist has that. I just like that kind of like, because that's just another decision to make. To be like, man, do I want to? But I'm not gonna get anything. If I go middle, chances are they aren't gonna go before me, and they went before me. It's like, and I'm last. But once again, kind of going last doesn't really matter. There was never a time where I was going, and I went last almost this entire game, and it didn't affect me.
Yeah, you get better bonuses.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I think for me, this is kind of now shown its age. I mean, I would still play it.
Yep.
Like, if people would be like, hey, you want to play Viticulture? I'd be like, sure.
But you won't suggest it.
Probably not. Like, if anyone's gonna want to, but that's the hard part, is if someone really, for some weird reason, wants to play a game about wine, I would suggest Vinos, but that's also something I'd have to teach them, and not everyone is up to...
Not everybody wants to fucking play
or another
a
worker
sword
placement.
game.
Everyone, but they should.
No.
They should.
No.
Expand your mind.
There's other
Open your
things
third
too.
eye. And
Not with Vito Lusarda. That's, I feel like, almost the exact opposite of what you do with one of his games.
Then you'll understand.
Cool.
Yep. All right, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you guys give Viticulture the Essential Edition?
I think with its age, I will give it a solid 7.
7?
I was saying 7.
I'm actually at a 6.
Okay.
But still, like, above average for you guys, slightly above average for me. Like, it's still not fundamentally bad, but you definitely have to go in with a non-strategic mindset.
Yep.
At least. So yeah. Still not horrible, but
Nope.
that is our thoughts on Viticulture. Let us know what you think of the game in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.